Tonight on News Prime, Secretary to Government of the Federation reaffirms President Tinubu's commitment to socio-economic growth. In business, federal government signs memorandum of understanding with Chinese firm for local production of HIV diagnostic kits. On the foreign scene, Kamala Harris concedes defeat, calls for unity. And in sports, Al-Ahly eye Mohamed Salah, Cristiano Ronaldo as Neymar's replacement. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Lee Mofrege. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nightcomsat. Tonight, let's begin by telling you, Secretary to Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, has reaffirmed President Bola Tinubu's administration's commitment to the socio-economic growth of the country. Akume stated this during the distribution of startup kits to 689 graduates of the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission Youth Transformation Program in Benue State. Akume, who was represented by his Chief of Staff, Simeon Chungu, highlighted various government initiatives, including a youth vocational training program, which he described as life-changing. He explained that the program had its grand launch in Minna, Niger State, with the distribution of 365 startup kits to graduates, followed by a similar distribution in Jos, Plateau State capital. Defense Headquarters has confirmed the emergence of a new terrorist group known as Lukarawas in the northwestern parts of the country. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on military operations in Abuja. He said the new terror group originated in the Republic of Niger after the recent coup, which disrupted military cooperation between Nigeria and Niger, explaining that the terrorists began infiltrating northern areas of Sokoto and Kebbi states from Niger Republic and Mali. Minister of Defense Abubakar Badaru and his counterparts Bello Matawalle have condoled with President Bola Tinubu over the demise of Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, who passed away on Tuesday night. Samuel Odi has details.
The Minister of Defense, Abubakar Badaru, described the death of Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Lagbaja, as tragic and a great loss to the nation. He described the late Chief of Army Staff as a gallant officer and a warrior who served in so many theaters and performed credibly at service. Badaru prayed for the repose of Lieutenant General Lagbaja's soul.
He was a gallant officer, very, very hardworking. He was indeed a warrior. He has served in so many theaters and have done commendably well. It's a very sad loss for the country. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to receive him.
Also, the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, lured the courage service to the nation. He described Lieutenant General Lagbaja as a great loss and condoled with his family and the nation.
He's a gallant officer and it's a great loss to this nation, and all we can say is to God to bless the family, and we assure Nigerians that we'll continue praying for the demise of Lagbaja, and we sending our condolences to the family of the deceased and Mr. President, because it's a great loss to this nation.
The acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, expressed regret following the death of Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Lagbaja.
The entire Nigerian army is actually in a very sorrowful mood, having lost our leader, Lieutenant General T.A. Lagbaja. This was someone that gave his all to Nigeria. He was a selfless leader. Then I want to enjoin Nigerians. For someone that have given his all to Nigeria, we need to celebrate him. So in that, I think I want Nigerians to actually celebrate him for the good job he did while alive.
President Bola Tinubu had on Wednesday rescheduled the Federal Executive Council meeting to a yet-to-be-announced date to mourn the late Chief of Army Staff. Initially scheduled for today, the council meeting was postponed in honor of Lieutenant General Lagbaja, the Chief of Army Staff who passed away on Tuesday night. After announcing the postponement at the council chamber, Vice President Kashim Shettima led other council members in observing a 1-minute silence in honor of the late Army Chief. Samuel Odi, reporting for Global Television News.
Well, thank you, Samuel. At least 22 miners are presumed dead following the collapse of a mining pit and an illegal mining site located within a national game reserve spanning Gashaka local government area in Taraba State and Chongo local government area in Adamawa State. Adamu Jamtare, a miner from Gashaka, explained that many of the deceased were from Jamtare, a town in Gashaka local government area. The presidency has sought to allay concerns regarding the safety of compressed natural gas-powered vehicles recently introduced in Nigeria as an alternative to petrol-powered cars. Special advisor to the president, Bola Tinubu, on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, dismissed these fears in a post on X while responding to reports on Malaysia's plan to phase out CNG-powered vehicles by 2025. It had earlier been reported that the Malaysian government announced plans to phase out CNG vehicles and end the sale of natural gas vehicles by July 2025. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbeduku, has ordered officers and men of the Nigeria Police Force to wear black bands for a 7-day mourning period in honor of the late Chief of Army Staff, Taoreed Lagbaja. The directive, issued through the Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi, aims to pay tribute to Lagbaja's gallantry, dedication and passion in fighting violent crimes and insurgency in Nigeria. Lagbaja, appointed by President Bola Tinubu on June 19, 2023, passed away on Tuesday at the age of 56 after a prolonged illness. His contributions to the country's security and well-being have been recognized nationally, with President Bola Tinubu directing that Nigeria's national flag be flown at half-mast for 7 days across the country to mourn his passing. Cross River State chapter of Magistrates Association of Nigeria has threatened to down tools should the state governor, Senator Basi Otu, fail to clear the backlog of salary arrears owed its members since 2015. The magistrates also gave the governor 7 days ultimatum to heed their demand, as failure to meet them will lead to the commencement of an industrial action which will disrupt court operations in the state. The association's chairman in Cross River State, Godwin Ona, gave the warning during the association's General Congress in Calabar, the state capital. He said the warning became necessary following the level of insensitivity exhibited by the state government regarding the association's welfare. He urged the state governor to fulfill all the state obligations for the smooth functioning of the justice system. The Federal Ministry of Health has launched an initiative that provides free cesarean sections for poor and vulnerable women across the country. The initiative tagged was launched during the joint annual health review organized by the ministry in Abuja. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, described the initiative as an ambitious commitment to reducing maternal and newborn mortality across Nigeria. Professor Pate said the maternal mortality remains unacceptably high, with 172 local governments contributing to over 50% of maternal deaths. Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has called on President Bola Tinubu to reconsider the recently proposed tax reform bills, calling for it to be reviewed with a focus on unity rather than division. Mohammed, while speaking to BBC Hausa Service, also appealed to the president to halt the bill's progress and conduct wild consultations to ensure they are fair and balanced before being passed into law. This is coming as the proposals, particularly the shift to a derivative-based model for distributing value-added tax, VAT, sparked strong objections from northern governors and traditional rulers, as they argue that the model would be disproportionately disadvantage less industrialized regions, especially the northern states. Governor Mohammed, however, warned that the proposed tax reforms would worsen the economic hardship already faced by many northern states. Kano State's Governor Abba Yusuf has urged the Nigerian Medical Association to suspend its strike action. The state governor gave the warning, saying that it could endanger the lives of over 20 million Kano residents who depend on medical services. While expressing his disappointment over the association's decision to strike, he urged the association to allow due process to take its course. The association had issued a 48-hour ultimatum to the state government to dismiss the commissioner, threatening to go on strike if the demand is not met. Ahead of the November 16 Ondo governorship election, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has confirmed that sensitive election materials will arrive at Akure by November 12. The commission's chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, while addressing stakeholders at a pre-election meeting held in the state capital, made the announcement, noting that the electoral body is committed to a well-organized and credible election process. He said that all sensitive materials, including ballots and result sheets, would be delivered to the Central Bank of Nigeria in Akure by early next week. Rumors that former Imo State's Governor Senator Rochas Okorocha is dead has been dismissed by his aide, Ebere Ezeworji. Ezeworji says Okorocha is alive and well, putting the false social media claims to rest. According to him, Okorocha was attending to his normal duties at his Unity House, Garki, Abuja office when the fake news started circulating. He clarified that the former governor had just returned from Owerri, Imo State, where he attended the funeral ceremony of elder statesman Emmanuel Iwayaun and hosted Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and other reps members. A major redeployment of top generals in the Nigerian Army is imminent following the death of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. Reports say President Bola Tinubu would soon pronounce the newly promoted Lieutenant General Oluyede as the substantive Chief of Army Staff. This, it was learned, would be subjected to the confirmation of the Senate, after which there might be reshuffling in the Army. 3 minors detained in Borno State for allegedly participating in the End Bad Governance protest remain in custody despite a recent directive from President Bola Tinubu ordering their immediate release. President Tinubu's directive, issued 3 days ago, had led to the release of minors held in Abuja. However, the Borno Minors Defense Council, Barrister Yakubu Olaji Adamu, says they are still held in juvenile facility in Maiduguri following a court order. The minors were initially arraigned before Justice Aisha Mohammed Ali at the State High Court 10 in Maiduguri, the state capital, where they had pleaded not guilty, and the judge subsequently ordered their remand in a juvenile facility and adjourned the case till November 18, 2024. You are watching News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When the news returns tonight, Palestine envoy to Nigeria charges Trump to end Gaza war. Details of these, as well as business and sports stories for you after this break. We urge you to stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take you to business. The Oyo State government says it has committed over 15 billion naira to the rehabilitation and asphaltic improvement of Bodija, Molete and Agbodi roads in Ibadan. The State Commissioner for Public Works and Transport, Professor Dawood Shangodoyi, made the disclosure after the 12th Executive Council meeting held in Ibadan. He shared details about the newly approved road projects, emphasizing government's focus on improving road networks in both residential neighborhoods and busy areas. He further explained that the decision to rehabilitate the roads aligns with Governor Seyi Makinde's commitment to improving infrastructure, especially following the January 17 explosion incident in the area. In order to improve access to reliable HIV testing and supports Nigeria's fight against the spread of HIV/AIDS, the federal government has signed a memorandum of understanding with China-based 14 Biotech Limited to begin local production of HIV diagnostic kits in the country. Director General of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, Dr. Temitope Ilori, made the announcement in Abuja as 14 donated 4,000 HIV test kits in preparation for World AIDS Day. The partnership, according to her, is set to also encourage local manufacturing of HIV diagnostic reagents while strengthening healthcare self-sufficiency. On the foreign scene, United States Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris has conceded defeat following a decisive victory for the Republican candidate Donald Trump in the 2024 election. According to a senior aide, Harris called Trump to congratulate him and discussed the importance of a peaceful transfer of power and being a president for everyone in the country. In a phone call, Harris is reportedly said to have expressed her commitment to unity, urging the country to come together. She is scheduled to deliver remarks later today in Washington, D.C., marking her first public statement since her projected loss. Equatorial Guinea's President Obiang Nguema Mbasogo has reportedly appointed Zenon Obiang Avomo as the new Director General of the National Agency for Financial Investigation. He replaced Baltasar Ebang Egonga following a shocking sex scandal involving public officials. This was disclosed in a news report by a media outlet based in Equatorial Guinea. The president reportedly fired Egonga for irregularities committed in the exercise of his functions, as well as inappropriate family and social misconduct for the performance of public functions. Palestinian envoy to Nigeria, Abdullah Abu Shawesh, has expressed deep concerns about the likely actions or stand of the newly elected 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump. The ambassador, who made this known at a press briefing in Abuja, noted that the previous experience under Trump made it difficult to tell if he will keep to his campaign promises of ending wars across the world. Global Television's Anthony Momodu was there.
The Palestinian envoy to Nigeria, Abdullah Abu Shawesh, therefore called on the International Committee to compel Donald Trump to keep to his campaign promises of ending the carnage in the Middle East despite his first-time bias in favor of Israel.
If this is the case, we have a very bad experience with the President-elected Trump. When he was in his office 4 years ago, he took approximately 17 measures. All of these measures is against the Palestinian people. To name some of it, just he recognized Jerusalem as the eternal capital of Israel, which is against the international law. We all know that Jerusalem or East Jerusalem is considered as occupied territory, Palestinian occupied territory.
The envoy says in just 1 year, the U.S. has spent at least $22.76 billion on military aid to Israel, leading to the 90% of the Gaza population suffering food insecurity, displacement, lack of cash, water, and medicine.
We pledge that no one will be left behind. 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. We, the Palestinians, were left behind. 398 days of non-stop bleeding at the hands of the United States of America, Israel, different slaughtering machine.
Shawesh pleaded with the newly elected President of the United States, Donald Trump, to uphold the tenets of international law to ensure true global peace and the freedom of the Palestinian people.
Just to abide by the international law. I will not add more than that. For the elected President Trump, just to abide by the international law.
It is hoped that the promise by the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, to end the killing of over 43,392 Palestinians with 103,337 injured amidst 85,000 tons of bombs dropped in Gaza by the Israeli Defense Forces will come to pass for the good of humanity. Anthony Momodu, reporting for Global Television.
Anthony Momodu there reporting about the developments in Gaza and how the election of the 47th President of the United States will impact the direction of the war. European auto giant Stellantis has said it would lay off 1,100 workers at its Jeep factory in Toledo, Ohio. This is an effort to regain its competitive edge as it struggles with falling sales. It says 14 brand group that includes Peugeot, Fiat, and Chrysler in a statement that it would move from a two-shift to a one-shift operation at the Toledo South Assembly Plant in 2025. It further says another 400 employees will be transferred to a third-party service provider, noting that they are difficult but necessary actions to take in order to enable the company regain its competitive edge and eventually return production to prior levels. And now let's catch some excitement from the world of sports. Saudi Pro League club Al Hilal are preparing to part ways with Brazilian superstar Neymar, with Liverpool's Mohamed Salah and Al Nassr's Cristiano Ronaldo reportedly among their targets as potential replacements. Neymar, who joined the club for 90 million euros from PSG 18 months ago, has struggled with injuries, including a recent ACL setback, which has kept him sidelined for much of his time at the club. According to reports, Lila's frustration is with Neymar's injury problems, which have led them to consider terminating his contract as early as January. Manchester United and Chelsea are reportedly leading the race to sign Sporting Lisbon striker Victor Gyökeres, with the Swedish forward enjoying a remarkable run of form. According to reports, United and Chelsea appear to be the front-runners in the chase for him, with the Telegraph suggesting that his transfer fee could drop to a bargain £63 million next summer. He has scored 9 goals in his last 3 appearances and boasts a total of 23 goals in 17 games across all competitions this season, attracting the attention of top clubs across Europe. Tonight, as we end the news here on Global Television, let's bring you a quick run of some of our big stories. Secretary to Government of the Federation has reaffirmed President Tinubu's commitment to socio-economic growth. Federal government has signed a memorandum of understanding with Chinese firm for local production of HIV diagnostic kits. On the foreign scene, Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris has conceded defeats with a call for unity. Finally, in sports, Al Ahly has indicated its interest in Mohamed Salah and Cristiano Ronaldo as Neymar's replacement. And that's your News Prime tonight. Thank you so very much for watching. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276, as well as free-to-air on Nightcomsat. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms using a Global TV NG, as well as other handles. Now see you on the screen. I'm Uyag Mofebe. Thank you again for watching.